All right, so my group has been open for roughly 7 days. This was the first post that was made when I was building it. I obviously made these two, and I'll kind of go over my system. But if you don't know, I made a post saying this, essentially saying my community has 25 people, and I was like flexing the activity and all that, and saying or I was like dogging on other groups, I guess. A couple people said they wanted me to share some of my secrets. And when I say secrets, I mean not secrets. It's just like human psychology now. I think it works, but just to like flex a little bit. This post has 52 responses from tons of different people. These are my leaderboards over the past 7 days with only like 20 people inside of my group, 27 now. But when I made this post, it was 25. I'm getting like 1 or 2 joins per day. The first day I got like 12, I think. But yeah. Bunch of people like saying how great the community is and how much they love it and all that type stuff. Probably the most active school, amazing brotherhood, things like that. Me responding to people. And at one point I had a post, I think it was in Schoolers, and I'll show you. This is just like me going over the credibility part. In Schoolers, if I look up my name. Here. Oh no, this was old. Somewhere I had a post talking about, there we go, how I had a 50% conversion rate on my free group at one point. So I'm going to be going over like my entire framework, I guess, of how this kind of works. So essentially I have these two groups. I have Forge the Future and I have my Maloney Athlete Academy. How I pull people in is through YouTube. I'll have a link in the description of my videos starting from this one, and then these three. And these videos also don't get that many views. I'm like so incoherent right now. I've trained and also I've eaten like a ton of food today. So you're getting like brain dead, Brandon. But I don't get a crazy amount of views. This one got like 400 because it's relatively short and it's edited. But this is like the advertisement for the group. So literally this entire video is like me hyping it up. There's a few key things that I do when I'm advertising for the free community. I will typically, don't mind me being half naked, the first thing that I do is I'll say the value of it. So I'll give the value. I'll say, like, oh yeah, I have a group of guys, like whatever, like community where I give resources, all that type of stuff. I will play it up. So I'll make the person think like, oh, this is something you have to pay for, but I'll make it go down. So I got this from like Alex Ramosi. So a lot of times I'll say like, it's not $97, it's not $67, it's not like $27. And I'll like keep going down the pyramid. I'll say that it's absolutely free, but the only thing that I'm like, quote unquote, charging you is you being active inside. So before they even join, before they even see this about page, I'm telling them, the one condition for you being in here is you being active. So the people who aren't going to be active, that already like turns them off. That's the second thing I do is I do this like downplay offer, kind of like this. So this is like $97 to $0. It's kind of like my playbook. And obviously it doesn't have to be like this. This is mostly just for you to get an idea. And then I'll do like regular CTA of like link and description. So linked bio. Dope. Cool. Now what they do is they'll click on the link, they'll see this about page, they'll read it, they'll see like coaching client, whatever. I don't have all of my testimonials saved and all that type of stuff. I have like a couple things here. I need to add more. I haven't really been prioritizing that though. But they'll see like, oh, okay, the next generation, like Forge the Future. It's a cool like movement thing. We're forging the future calisthenics, rising athletes who define calisthenics. It's like a cool movement type thing. I set myself up as like an authority. So I'm Brandon, the calisthenics coach, setting myself up as somebody that you can listen to, content creator, which they already know, and teacher, cool, all that. And I go over my accomplishments, built skills from zero as a young kid, all this type of stuff, basically saying like my journey thus far. One of the things that I put is some of the best muscle ups on social media. I think this is like a huge flex for me in like the proof part. And also I advertise my paid program, which is my Maloney Athlete Academy, and then my educational calisthenics content, which is just a YouTube channel because I do get some people driving from school. So if I look into the, how does this even work? If I export, I think. If I look into the membership questions, yeah. So you do get a couple people from school. I just recently started asking this, I think. Oh no, it's layered. That's so gay. Oh no, it's not layered. Email, invited by, join date. Should I be showing this to you? You can't read it. It's fine. But yeah, so I get, YouTube, Instagram, YouTube, school, all that type of stuff. So if you come from like Instagram or school, I think it's just nice to have this in the description. I got this from my friend Jonah, who is actually in this community or was in this community. He's like a screen time coach and all that. I thought this was a really smart idea, especially if you're trying to get people from school into your community. Just linking them to your educational content is actually super helpful, because of the fact that if they think you're just like a school guy and like you have your free course or whatever, then they're like, oh, they're cool, but you're not actually giving them like daily value. It's more so like one big thing. If you do both, that's just more like credible for you. Community, this is what happens when you join. So if I were to copy and paste this right now, we were to go into an incognito tab. This is what you see. You come here, I tell you, start here. Takes 5 minutes to find out how we run. I give a time frame just so they know exactly like what they're getting themselves into. I say, welcome to the community. I give like this big post basically saying like, do these things. You have 3 things to do. It takes 5 minutes. Just whatever, get it done. I think this is super important because a lot of people have like an introductory post saying, okay, introduce yourself and like a comment and all that type of stuff, but they don't really give you a reason. Here, I like giving a reason why you should be active. So for example, after a few posts, you should be at level 2, which gives you access to most of the things in the classroom tab. This is super important because it's where the guides are. Once you get to level 2, you get all of the guides. Here, it's like an advertisement for my academy. This is more specific to me though. But here, you get a level 2 bonus. Here, you get a level 3 bonus. Here, you get the level 6 free gift or whatever. That's going to give you even extra value. So I make it a point to reward activity, and I talk about it very often. Just look at how ridiculous this is. There's 52 people, or 52 individual messages, and most of them aren't mine. I maybe like 10 of them. I responded to like once to each person who actually responded to this. But think about how crazy this is. People have been responding for like 5-6 days, whatever. Like, this is huge. But anyways, I give list of steps, write an introductory comment on this post. The reason is I've seen the group, I think it was Synthesizers by Andrew Kirby. It might also been Schoolers, but they talk about the problem with introduction posts, how you just go through and it's like, hi, my name is Kevin and I do calisthenics, and it just sounds super gay. And if somebody joins for the first time, if all they see is introduction posts and nothing like valuable, then I mean, there's nothing that they can really interact with or talk to. They're just kind of like, hey, you want to be friends? And then they don't get responded to because people stop using the app. So make an actual like introduction thing, but underneath this, like introduce yourself, get yourself keyed into the community, all this type of stuff. And this gives me access to the person in order to like message them in DMs and say, oh, I saw like you in the introduction post, you said you were from here, or you did this thing, or struggling with this, whatever. So yeah, I also say do the like welcome start here thing for school, just because I don't want to be the one to teach that, because that would have been inconvenient for me. Write an introductory comment. Then I have write your comment under this post, like 1 to 5 other comments to help each other level up. So when you get through, walk through, like, boom, super easy. Took me like 6 seconds, whatever. To level up, this is to teach everybody, like once you make a comment, okay, then go in and like it and all that type of stuff. Make a post, not a comment. I specify that because I'm assuming people don't know how to use Skool. So I say make a post. I want you to post under any of the categories. If you don't know what to post, it's super important telling them, because if you just say make a post, they're like, oh, okay, and then they have no idea what to put. If you tell them make a post, then they're not going to do it. If you say, okay, just write down why you started calisthenics, and this is a majority of the posts, like, did I respond to this? Yeah, I did. Let me see, for example. The reason I started, this guy didn't know what to put. Where's another one? The reason I started, and then there was one more. The reason I started, stuff like that. Those 3 people wouldn't have made a post otherwise. It kind of gets them into the door of making posts and interacting people and saying like, oh yeah, this is a good thing. So that's why I did that. And then explore. Reply to other people's posts, like them, create posts or value posts, and enjoy our community. You have the classroom, the leaderboards. I occasionally offer the most active members access to my paid program, so I recommend trying that for a spot, just because I help people a ton in here anyways, so it's just like natural for people to want to get like the paid thing, because oh my god, if you're selling a paid thing, then it's so much different than his free thing. It's literally not. It's just a library. Like my free and paid stuff is the exact same, to be quite honest. Now that you've been briefed on our tribe, set like that tribal mindset, whatever, enjoy yourself, motivate others, and abuse the fact that you're around other... Oh, that's supposed to say guys. See, I have a spelling mistake. This is why you read these things. Who just happen to be hungry for progress. Cheers, Brandon. And then this is the link to like how to See the 60-second intro video and all this type of stuff for school, download the app, all these things. And you see all of these guys are making posts, literally 52 under here. Another thing that I do that schoolers taught me, I think in their course, was pin value posts and pin like important posts. So for example, this post has been pinned, this post has been pinned, this post has been pinned, this one's been pinned. This here, I'm not going to talk about mine yet. This one was pinned. Celebrate progress, celebrate like the first level 2s when I first released the course, just to like make people think, oh wait, like this is important, like to see people who are actually being active getting glorified. Why I started calisthenics, this was posted at some point. Just going through and posting really important posts that genuinely you just like and want to see more of. Posting it will give people a little bit of like dopamine and a little bit of positive reinforcement, so they'll want to keep continuing that. When I write something valuable, I pin it. This is a podcast that I had by Dr. Yad on tendon health. That's super important for calisthenics. So why wouldn't I pin that? People like it, nobody respond to it, which is completely fine, but it gets people onto the app, and they're on the app because of me, which is going to make them more active in turn. Here, a guy wrote, Kevin, he gave a full guide from YouTube, and I said I watched this video just now and everything seems to be factual. Everything seems to be good. So I pinned it. A full video on increasing testosterone. What young guy doesn't want that? That's an awesome thing. That was like a gold mine for me to get as someone making a value post. And I literally rewarded him for it. Reward people for being active. I told him he can get half off inside of my paid program if he buys an annual pass. That's awesome. Why would somebody not want that? Just for being active, because this guy has been hugely active. He's only in level 3, but he's been inside for like 1 or 2 days, and he replies to like everybody's comments and everybody's posts. He's inside constantly, so why would I not reward that? When I made a post saying this, saying how good the activity has been, again, hyping up the activity and being like, whoa, this is absolutely awesome, this is amazing, say, what would you guys like in return for being so active? And the thing is, they don't even want anything. They simply just want more value, which is what I'm going to get into next. How do you make the community actually valuable? Because I don't have a course. The $1,000 protocol talks about like, oh yeah, you need a course and all these different types of things, which I fully agree with. I'm 100% going to add those. I haven't added them in full yet. I'm asking around on what people would like to see added. But if I go to my posts, I make full-on YouTube videos about problems that people have. And when I get on the phone with people inside of my community, I record it. We did a full guide breaking down this guy's training routine where I'm like on the phone with him writing down graphs and like explaining how different training methods work and all these different types of things, and you just make it valuable. You give your time so they want to be in more, so the community flourishes more, and as it flourishes more, more people will want to be inside. And if you have qualified people who want to like purchase stuff from you, then they see the thing, they'll go, whoa, this community is awesome, and they're like, whoa, okay, cool. And then if you're like all buddy with them in like a professional sense to where you're like their teacher or educator, then they trust you more. When I'm here, Sam gave me, I think it was Sam gave me the idea of doing this like Twitter type thumbnail video, so that's what I did. I literally made a full video on a question that was inside of my community. This guy, he made a post asking a video on programming. I made a full 27-minute video on programming where I write down and show the program of one of my coaching clients, and I explain, and I give like stuff inside of my paid program, and I explain like stuff like that, so you get a little bit of like snippets into there just as like a free advertisement kind of. It's kind of like when you get a free sample like outside of a Chinese restaurant. All of this stuff. And then at the end, I CTA, and at the beginning, the entire thing is a CTA because of the fact that I'm making videos based on the program or based on the community. Same thing for here, responding to a random question inside the community. I ended up turning this into a video also. Somebody asked me about power building. I made a full power building template, which nobody really liked or cared about, but it's just a little bit of value. All of this stuff is super important for making a community active, and all of these things make very small differences. But I mean, look at my leaderboards, like 53, like the 53, this guy's been in here for like 6 days. Kai 52, he's been in here for like 3-4 days. Navshin, I don't know how to say his name, I'm sorry if you're seeing this, he's been in here for like a week. Shaky also been in here for like a couple of days. Kevin been in here for like 3 days. Geo been in here for a couple of days. All these guys, 10 people with over 10 points. And if you look at another random community, like if I was to go to discover communities, what's here? Oh, this is myself. If I was to go to like, I don't know, this guy who's like technically my competitor, you look in here, leaderboards all time, when he has more people than me and it's a paid community? Nobody's active. Nobody uses a community feature. And it's because my buddy Orpheus is in here. Like this is a community that people should be using. But the thing is, because there's no incentive to be using it, nobody uses it. I'm in here. I hardly use it. Like the $1,000 protocol, for example, if I was to look at this, if we look at these leaderboards, Sam is a genius at this. I have over 1,000 points. Manvik, 600. He's only been in here for a couple of weeks. Patrick has over 400, but he's been in here for longer than me, so maybe that's not that good. Mohammed, he was here for a while. He was super active. And it's because it gives you like that emotional feeling thing, and it gives you a reason to use a community because it's actually set up in the space of being a community. A lot of guys will say, oh, join my community, but then they have nothing inside, and there's no posts, and there's no nothing. Sam has the entire $1,000 protocol in here, which is dope. But he centers it heavily around the community. The only thing he charges for is a better community because this one's getting filled because it's so active. Again, over 1,000 points, 600 points. Leaderboards past 7 days, 75. Hugo, he has 50. Calvin, 35. Patrick, 29. Patrick isn't even active anymore. I'm not even active anymore, and I just have 25 because people are using it and people are going to the old posts and they're saying, go to unread, whatever. Oh, look at this guy, Jorik. He's talking about like his personal brand, like this long friggin' post that for some reason he felt the need to use AI for, I think. Yeah, because of the dashes. I don't know. I used AI for that. Maybe like spell check, whatever. But I look in, I like it because it gives me a reason to be in here. It looks pretty. There's emojis. There's all the different things. When Sam makes his videos, it's not just like, oh yeah, here's like my 3-step framework, bro. It's like, no, it's actual intentful things that motivate you and inspire you to make your first 1K. That's why Sam's community is so successful. My channel got leaked to my parents. I haven't seen this one. I want to watch this. Well, I filmed this video while climbing a tree to make a point. But yeah, this is kind of my system. And the thing is, when you DM people, like, I'm not going to go through my DMs because I don't know how, like, not legal, but how like ethical that is. But I have people with like fire flags in here. These are awesome people to have inside, especially if they're key toward fitness. Like all these guys, like this dude just joined my community just because I'm on Skool. Like being active in other communities is huge. And I don't know how much. I personally don't go into like, this is a calisthenics one, for example. I'm not going in here writing like full guides, like full guide to handstand push-ups. Like I'm not in here doing this. Like I probably should be, but I don't have the attention span. But if I'm in here and I write like, oh, hey, any advice would be appreciated. If I'm like, and I write something meaningful that helps him, he'll click on my profile and be like, hey, yo, this dude's awesome. I want to learn more from him. And not only will that get someone in your community, but they already have a high level of respect for you in that way. And they actually want to work with you. So to be active in here because they know when you respond, they get valuable stuff. So they wouldn't go to Caliversity with barely anyone active. Like if we look at the leaderboards here, my community is better. And Kevin's also in here. That's funny. But literally, my community is better past 30 days, plus 7 days. When I have literally, okay, I'm going to look this up. What percent of 11,000 is 20? It is 0.2%. 0.2% is the amount of members that I have. And this is like adjusting for the 11 and a half and like my 27, whatever. Let's just say it's roughly 2%. My community is more active, even though there is 11,000 people inside of here, because you come in here, it's boring, says click to begin. It gives a vision. This about page is new, whatever. Guys come from YouTube. They don't really care. There's no like post in here saying it just join Caliversity Premium. Training plans here, free guides, you have the lead magnet, whatever. But it doesn't give a reason to be inside. So they open it, they join the community, they're in it for maybe a day. They see that there's already not that many like posts that are important, and then they stop opening Skool. If we look at the members, I guarantee you, without looking at people who are online, active 2 minutes ago, 2 minutes ago. Okay, maybe not. Oh, because it's ordered in that way. And it's, yeah. But like even the owner, I saw before he wasn't active for like 30 plus days. Not active for 6 days. That's a moderator. 14 days, a moderator. 64 days, a moderator. 83 days, a moderator. Almost a year, moderators. They're not even in here. Guys who literally like make sure the community is high quality, they're not even in here. This has been 20 minutes, Jesus Christ. But yeah, that's kind of why I think this works. Also, I have calls for my paid program, which I just added because why not? They don't get access to this, but it's when you click it, it gives a link to my paid program. So yeah, it would take them to the about page. But that's everything. I mean, I kind of ranted. I hope somebody took value from this. Whatever. I'm going to have ChatGPT write like a summary in the transcript for this. But this is kind of my thought process of why I think this works, why Sam's community works really well, and why my calisthenics community is infinitely more valuable and active than a community with 11,000 people. I spent a lot of time setting this up. I didn't release it for a while. Made sure the message was right. There was like a bajillion iterations of all of this. Again, leveling up, and here, for example, I give like all of my value posts inside of here, and then like mini courses and whatever, uncommon and uncommon, like random Instagram posts, stuff like that. Just like whenever I feel like writing a guide on something, this is where I add. But again, just super, super simple. It really is. Just how could you make the community aspect as valuable as possible? Because a lot of people will try and sell the course that's a free course in their free community. The reason why that doesn't work, and I'm confident enough to speak on this because even though mine's relatively small, mine's infinitely more active than everybody else's calisthenics community, basically on the platform, really. Not really, but like person for person, like if I were to look up calisthenics on Discovery, I'm probably not on here yet. But like, yeah, well, even like Orpheus's community. See, the thing is, I don't have calisthenics in my name, which could be screwing me. But like my friend Orpheus, like my community has more people, or he has more people. But like, if you look at the activity, no shitting on Orpheus. Like 17 hours ago, like if I go to newest, 17, 3 days, 6 days, 10 days, like there's not a ton of posts, which is the thing. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, like it's cool you have a community, but people aren't actually using it. Attention is the most important thing. How can you keep people on your platform as long as possible and give them value to where they never want to leave? This is why you see people like Hamza, for example, who give a ton of value early on in like their YouTube career or whatever, and then they have a loyal fan base of tens of thousands of people years after they stop being valuable. It's because of stuff like this, because you set into their brain. So I'm going to stop yapping. This has been 22 minutes. I'm going to upload this on my unfiltered channel also, because I think this is important and just a cool thing that I could upload. But I'm going to be giving this to the boys in $1,000 protocol because I genuinely want to help people. So again, not an expert, not like anybody super special. I'm just a guy who has a decent result in this thing on a very small scale, who has made a couple communities before, messed up a lot, and this is my this is really like my 6th iteration of a free community. But this is what I have thus far. I hope it helps you. That's all I'm going to say. Cheers.